Hello my students, today I am going to tell you about the sexual behavior of animals. Sexual behavior of animal is one of the key criteria of animal behavior, and I will tell you that this sexual behavior may lead to evolution. So under this sexual behavior in your syllabus there are different topics, out of which two topics are like this: asymmetry of sex and sexual dimorphism. These two topics are, although it is there in a separate way, but if you see from one point of view, these are actually similar topics. Asymmetry of sex means the dissimilarity in sex, and sexual dimorphism also says there are two types of sexes. So I have taken these two topics under the same head, under the sexual behavior. So what we will learn from this lesson? After this lesson, we will understand the basic biological reasons of delivering sexual behavior in animals. Why the animals have different sexual behaviors, what to deliver they have different sexual behaviors, we will understand after this lesson. And it also give us a description that the variation in animals are there, and there are some reasons of this kind of variations. Now the question is that how this animal behavior is related to evolution. Animal behavior, especially in terms of sexual behavior, is directly related to evolution. Say for example, if the behavior increases fitness, as you know, if the behavior increases fitness, the animal is likely to become more common over time, means it can survive for longer time. But if the behavior decreases fitness, the animal is likely to become less common. It cannot survive for longer time. The same pattern and the same principle you can say in case of animal behavior. If the sexual behavior increases the fitness of the animal, it can survive for a long time. Its own progeny can survive for a long time. And if it cannot sustain its progeny, its offsprings, its race, it cannot sustain. It will be eliminated from the scenario. So this is what the basic principle of sexual behavior and evolution. So how the animal maintain, how the animal acquire the fitness in terms of sexual behavior? The first concept we are getting is reproductive strategy. Reproductive strategy in simple way refers to the way an animal mates and raises offspring. Means to offspring, the animal has to mate, and that will lead the reproduction and the generation of offspring. So how it maintain, it proceed, and it ensures that its offsprings are raised in a very planned way. That is what called reproductive strategy. You can say it's a planning. It's kind of a strategic planning to approach for a better outcome of reproduction. That is why you can say the reproductive strategies are structural, functional and behaviorally adjusted adaptations that improve the chances of fertilization and increase the survival rate. So overall goal is to improvement, getting some kind of facilities, advantages to ensure 100% fertilization or higher rate of fertilization and higher rate of survival of the offspring. That is the key point of reproductive strategy. So you understood that reproductive strategy is aimed to get reproductive success, and that is what the reproductive success is, the ultimate key point, the goal point, that if the animal can achieve it, the population can survive. In this slide you can see there are 3 points: mate selection, reproductive strategy, and animal behavior. What we are talking about the animal behavior, and if you just go back and see the cause of the animal behavior, pick up the reproductive part, you will find that the animal is following some specific reproductive strategy. The lions, the way they go for reproductive strategy is different from tigers, like from deers. And that way, from animal to animal, the reproductive strategies are different. Even among the animals, same species, they have strong strategy or poor strategy. So this strategy of this following this strategy, the goal point is that mate selection. The mate selection has to take place, and for that one has to follow a better strategy, and ultimately the behavior is the outcome of this strategy. And when these all three components are linked, means an animal can go for very efficient reproductive strategy and get a mate selection, better mate selection through some animal behavior, the animal can survive for longer time. And that is the ultimate goal, that is evolution. If you just look at the reproductive strategy or the mate selection, you will find there are two basic differences: fundamental and asymmetry. Here two consequences are there, as we see in case of all animal population. One is the male partner and second is the female partner. These two are the two sexes and they are totally different, dimorphic. That is called sexual dimorphism, dimorphic. They look different. Not only their look, not only their secondary sexual characters. If you just look at their strategies, say for example the females, the eggs are expensive. In a lifetime, the female can generate only few eggs. So it is said eggs are expensive. So female has to be very calculative in investing the eggs. It cannot invest the eggs just for useless. It has to count the utility of the eggs. The offspring should be strong and there should be assurance that the offsprings are really surviving. But compared to female, if you look at the male, the sperms are inexpensive. So the males are not very calculative. So they can go for limitless offspring. How do they do that? They go for multiple selection of females. Means they have to influence more than one females to ensure that their sperms get a place and there is a better offspring to survive. Their number of offspring to survive among these females. So it has to orient itself again and again to influence more females. Those are weaker males, they may not get the better female. Those are inefficient male, they cannot get the better female. So the male has to be very competitive to invest its energy, to invest its effort to get more offsprings from different females. However, the female, since its eggs are expensive, it is very choosy. Means out of 10 males, it will choose only one male which is strong and at the same time is very healthy, good genes. So overall the good qualities are there in the male. So that is the key point of the selection by the females for further reproductive strategy. This is why what are the reproductive strategic points that the female can go for mate selection or male can go for the multiple female selection, or it may go for very assured mate selection. Say for example monogamy, it is 1-to-1, means one female will choose only one male or one male will choose only one female. Monogamy, there are more security, more assurance, and that is why the monogamous relationship exist. But many a times it is not possible. That is why polygyny comes, polyandry comes, promiscuity comes. So these are the some points, some of the strategies through which the animals they want to ensure their progenies can survive. And every strategy you will find there are different selective mate selection procedures. Monogamy, it is one-to-one, so competition is not so high. But polygyny, when one male, one female is to be selected from a number of females, the male has to influence the particular female. So polygyny is a little bit competitive. So this way the number of the strategy wise the mate selection procedures are different, and that brings some kind of quality. The animal has to bring some kind of quality in it so that it can easily pass through the competition and get the desired partner for reproductive procedures. Whom to select and how to select. If a particular animal is selected, then what are the criteria on the basis of which it can be selected? So these are the main challenges for the animals to ensure the better mate selection. There comes the asymmetry of sex. There comes the sexual dimorphism. In case of birds, you can see the plumage. Plumage is one of the character in male birds with different colors, different ornaments, orientations. So all these characters of plumage give the bird such a beautiful structure, look that the males can influence the female. Here in this picture you can see the plumage of different birds. Peacock, you can see the first one, then the parrot, you can say bluebird, violet-necked lory. So in all these cases the male bird is having the colorful wings, or you can say plumage. So here you can see the sexual dimorphism is very prominent. The male bird is totally different from the female partner. In every cases the male bird is more beautiful, colorful than the female one. The color is, you can see, the compared to the female. Here also the male is very colorful. There also you can say male is very colorful. So the birds, in case of birds, the male is totally different by color and the orientation than the female. And this is what the advantage of the male to influence the female. Not only in birds, there are other animals, for example reptiles. Also during the breeding seasons, they develop the colorful structures, and many times these colorful structures are one of the way they can successfully reproduce with their desired partner. Not only the colors or some of the orientations, the weapons, which is a symbol of strength. In these animals you can see the weapons, the antlers or the horn. These are the structure. The main core of the horn is very short, but the orientation you can see it is so beautifully arranged. The sheath is very beautifully arranged. This is a loop through which it is projected or reflected that this male is having this man is stronger. And there you can see the selection of the mate by the females. Weapons are not only a character in case of vertebrates, but in case of invertebrates also you'll find. This is how, see, the crabs, the weapon is very strong. In case of aquatic animals also weapon is very strong. And insects, you see the beetle, this is the male, the weapon, and here also you can see the weapon of the male compared to the female. Many times it is not the weapon or the color. Some characters are developed which are of no direct use in survival. Say for the birds, you can see this ponytail structure. which is not helping it to fly or feed or any purposes, but this structure is an ornament for the bird, this male bird. Similarly, the beautifully oriented tail, you can see the tail end rings are there. So this bird having no advantage, without any advantage, the structures it carries, but still it has these structures. And here you can see the feeder is different from the female, and that is what it is called a greater bird of paradise. It looks so beautiful, and this is not helping the animal in its day-to-day life, but it helps the animal. All the structures, these kind of ornaments, help the animal to survive from the reproductive point of view, to ensure its offspring, to get better mate and to get offsprings. This is what one of the way the sexual dimorphism is formed. And not only on terrestrial structures or arboreal animals. In case of aquatic animals, for example fishes, you can see all the males are colorful. All the males are very colorful, and if they are not colorful, they have a strong armor in their body. So although you cannot compare them, their structural difference with the terrestrial animals, but even though you'll find some sexual dimorphism exist in the aquatic animals also. So some of the animals are so diverse, the sexual dimorphism is so diverse, you may think they are two different species. Say for example beetle, you can see this beetle is female or this is the male of the same species, but they look so different that if you see them in a separately if you see them, you will find you may think they are different species. The bird, you can see the yellow color and this is red color. Even the feeder, the wings are also totally different. And the lion, as you see, this male lion and this is the female lion, how they are different. Not only the structures and not only the armors and not only the different orientations, many a times, especially in birds, the vocal signals are also having dimorphic features. Which are the vocal features? The song. The females, those are sexually matured, adult females, they can sing beautiful songs to influence their partners. Especially the male birds can sing a beautiful song. They sing beautiful sound they can create, which influence the female partners. Here we can listen one song. Just listen, my students. And Fisher, Ronald Fisher, he has proposed a model which is called Fisher's runaway model. In this model, he explained that in some birds, the tail is longer, which does not help the bird to survive. And this is just one example. In some other birds, the wings are bigger than they require, which never help them to fly. So these characters are there in case of birds. The question is why these characters are there? They are hardly helping the animal to survive. Rather, sometimes because of these characters, they cannot escape and they become prey of some predators. So why these animals having these characters? The male birds, for example, having this character. Yes, Fishers explained that this character ensures their survival selection, means survival of their offspring. The character gives them the strength to get the selection of the female. This is a strategy taken ensure the selection of the females, and that way they can go for mating, and mating can help them to get offsprings which which can which will survive for longer time, and that may help to continue their race. And this is what called survival selection, or you can say it gives them a strategy for sexual selection which help the survival of their own race for longer time. This is the fitness for the animals. Dimorphic characters are developed not because just to orient. There is a purpose. There is a purpose of adopting better strategy to get a better mate. And if you consider the what factors do female birds base their choice of mates? Say for example, it can be anything. It can be the character, it can be the features, it can be the colors, it can be the weapons, it can be the fighting. So sometimes combination of most of these characters are the basis of the female to choose the mate. And to your surprise, I can tell you that sometimes the big color also give an indication. It most of the times signal that the honest signal of health. Big color acts as the honest signal of health. For example, the zebra finches, they have bright big colors, especially the male. So it means the male is healthy, and the female may choose a healthy male to ensure its eggs success to fertilize. So this is what the characters may come from any point of view, but the differences always are there from one male to another male, or one species to another species, and one sex to another sex. So this is how the sexual asymmetry is formed and sexual dimorphism is maintained. So the factors which are related to sexual dimorphism, we can have three factors. One is the mating system. That I told you that mating system, if there are no competition, for example the monogamous, there is no competition, then the competition, the sexual dimorphism may be not very diverse. But in case of polygynous, the animals are more sexually dimorphic, because one has to compete for many males. So when there are more competitors, many males are competing for one female, the male has to be stronger, and it has to show its extravagant characters, and that way it has to develop those characters, maintain these characters. And where there are more competitions, the mating system is more competitive, those characters are more prominent, and the dimorphism is more diverse. And second point is the larger species. If the species is large, body size is large, and there it says that there are more options to orient the body. Means smaller bodies, they have few surfaces, but the larger body, they have a wide surface area to orient their body. So that is why the larger species, they are more sexually dimorphic than the smaller species. And although it is not explained how it happens, but the terrestrial species tend to be more sexually dimorphic than arboreal species. These are the three factors that they are giving some indication of diverse of the sexual dimorphism in animals. So what we have learned here is that mate selection is the best and essential reproductive strategy for survival. That is the first point that we have to concentrate. But our topic is the sexual dimorphism, and that is why the first asymmetry is the sexual dimorphism between male and female. And this asymmetry is the root of the asymmetry is the mate selection. Why the difference is coming? Because there is a selection, competition. So everyone has to maintain a competitive structure. So dimorphism is coming, asymmetry is coming. And such dimorphism, that is why it helps in selecting mate for successful reproduction. This is the third point you have learned. And there are a large numbers of dimorphism take place among animals. So I have seen how the birds, how the fishes, how the mammals. So in all these animals, dimorphism is very common and prominent. And finally, the features runaway model explains why some animals maintain those extravagant characters, although they are not helpful for them. That is to ensure their reproductive survival, not the fitness to the environment, a fitness of their reproductive survival, which will ensure the survival of the progenies for longer period, that to help the evolution. So my students, I think you have learned the sexual dimorphism, the root of sexual dimorphism. The next class we will discuss the mate selection. Till then, thank you very much.